Everyone, today's topic is what is YouTube channel management for marine businesses? That's you. So I'm going to go through what channel management is, what's different on YouTube than other platforms, what clear business goals you need to make for your YouTube channel, how to balance the type of videos that you have on your portfolio, which is your YouTube catalog basically, what a minimum viable product is for publishing, and the standards for that. Packaging rules, how you're going to set up your videos. Channel architecture, the different ways that you can spread them through the internet. Conversions and lead ups, talking about calls to action, different ways you can do that. And just looking at the analytics to measure if you're being effective with your reach and with your conversions. So YouTube channel management really makes a difference because we post from when we can to a reliable process that produces sales. So most marine businesses already have an expertise, and you have real life stories about what your business is doing in the world. And YouTube is a great way to communicate that out into the market and to bring back customers that want your service. Also, in the marine industry, it's even more important that you build trust with your customers because there's really high stakes. If you break down at sea, there's no AAA that can go pick you up. Yeah, there's sea tow, but it's going to be a lot more expensive, and it's a lot more complicated depending on the weather. Yeah, if you're way farther out, you may be having to deal with the Coast Guard, and maybe the Coast Guard is your customer. So there's lives on the line there. So you want to make sure with the marine business that you really cover and build trust with your YouTube channel. So I'm going to go into what channel management actually means. So channel management is not just the filming and uploading part. It's the end-to-end operating model, and there's really five different responsibilities for anyone that's managing a marine business YouTube channel. The first one is strategy, which is defining what the channel is supposed to produce. Is it leads? Is it bookings? Is it orders? Then it's planning out the content that needs to be either created or posted or all of the above. So choosing the topics, what buyer intents need to be covered, and the different clusters. Not just randomness, like actually having to define strategy for what you're going to cover based upon what your sales goals are for this quarter, for this year. And what product lines you're bringing to market, and what major questions that your customers often have. Then YouTube channel management is involved with the production and the publishing workflow because there's usually a whole team that's involved with this process. And you want to create a repeatable cadence so that you're shipping virtual inventory, which is the videos, and it doesn't have to just be a perfection. There's some refinement we'll talk about later. So then we're going to talk about packaging and distribution. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. So just like an SEO on a website, there's SEO on a YouTube channel. So you really want to have to think about your titles, which is how the videos are found. The thumbnails, which is once they're found, do people want to click it? Is it an attractive video? And do they want to click on it? That's going to increase your basically view to click rate. There's fancy SEO words for this, but you just want them, once they see your video, to click it. So you want hooks within your videos. You want playlists that help people stay on a certain topic. End screens and cards can help you to bring people to your website or to a lead form. And it's going to earn you clicks from your videos into things that you want to get done. Then you're going to want to add your conversions and your calls to action on your landing pages, lead handling, and just really getting your videos to turn into a sale. So a channel that's managed behaves like a business system, and a channel that is unmanaged is kind of like a hobby. All right, so next, the platform reality. YouTube is a library, here's a fancy word, with latency. Basically, it takes some time sometimes for videos to be watched. Actually, I read a study where some like I think it was Instagram, the stories, right? They're 24 hours is what they call the half-life. And for YouTube, the half-life could be years because it just keeps getting watched, the same video. So this asset is going to compound over time. So in marine, this is even more pronounced because topics are what they call evergreen. Evergreen means they can just continue on. It's always important. And sometimes they're seasonal. So maintenance questions, they repeat every year. Seasonal patterns drive search surges like storms, winter, tourism peaks. So if you're in a marine business, a lot of times the spring is a really good time for you to be generating a lot of sales because it's the best time. Versus the winter, depending on where you are, things slow down. So you don't really need as much traffic then as you might need in the spring when all the people are ready to buy. So you might want to create videos that attract traffic during that springtime. Buyers tend to binge your content when you have a lot of depth to the content and they're interested. So all these things that happen with YouTube create what I would call just delayed winners, because long form videos maybe do nothing for a few months and all of a sudden they start taking off. And one day you log into your YouTube studio and you've got thousands of views on a video that had just been sitting there for some time. But sometimes it's pretty quick. So you just have to be aware of that. So the takeaway here is simple. Early success is not just one video blowing up. Early success is building enough inventory around certain topics for the platform to start classifying you and say, okay, your channel is about your business, right? And you're the most relevant source for that business. So you want to start to create an inventory of videos on your channel. You're going to want to start with at least 20 to 50 long form videos before you start really cranking them out. But you want to start getting a regular cadence of doing that. And then 100 plus shorts is going to get you discovered because YouTube is really pushing the short form videos more and more now. So the next thing is defining the channel's growth. Growth of the channel is not necessarily the job of the channel, depending on what your sales goals are, but the sales outcomes definitely are because you're a business. So marine business channels should have a defined job within the revenue system. And here's a few jobs that you could assign to your channel. Generate inbound leads. Support commercial fleets and help you to generate strategic partnerships. Maybe you start to do videos with some of people that could potentially be partners from you, and actually they end up being them. Reduce sales friction. Management starts by choosing a primary and secondary job for the channel. So if you're a service shop, let's say you're servicing some part of an engine or some cooling systems or something like that, you want to focus primarily on inspections and quote requests, and then secondary maybe on parts and upsells. If you're a charter operation, obviously you want to get charters booked, so that's the first thing. And the second thing is to get people to come back. Once they went on your charter, they've subscribed to your YouTube channel, you're following up with them naturally just by having videos, and they remember you, oh, when I go to Miami to go fishing, I'm going to go book with this person. And you stay on the top of their mind. So for parts brand, you also want to talk about fitment and credibility for larger accounts, because let's say you have a purchasing manager, they want to see that this thing works so they don't get in trouble with their boss. All right, so then you have dock and marina contractors. Maybe the primary goal is to get out to the site, and secondary is just to have credibility. If you skip this step, your content might become disconnected from revenue, and the channel might not feel worth it, even if it grows. So next is the buyer intent clusters, how you plan a channel that compounds. So marine buyers search with specific questions and urgency. See, channel management means building clusters of videos that answer these questions well. So let's say that you work with charters and tourism, and so you're going to want to work with charter types and comparisons, pricing and what drives costs, seasons, expectations, policies, and what to bring and prepare. I've seen a lot of people in this industry focus on what they catch, which is important, but you need to bring them to the next step. So maybe you have that what they catch video, and then suggest the next video, like, okay, well, if you'd like to book a charter with us, here's what your day is going to look like. Here's what to bring. Here's the options. We have a 4-hour, a 6-hour, and a 12-hour charter, and we would be happy to have you on our boat. Next, let's say you're a boatyard service. You want to talk about the haul out times and the cost drivers. So I actually personally did a project boat, and I was charged a haul out fee, and then a fee to be put back in the water, an environmental fee. There's to use certain equipment within the boatyard. So putting these things up front helps the buyer visualize using your service. And they're going to come with less objections when they arrive. So there's a bunch of different marine topics. I'll go through maybe one more here. So commercial workboat operations. So maybe we want to talk about the tug and barge workflow that you have. Maybe this helps you recruit crew members to your company. You want to talk about the safety basics and operational best practices, so that whoever contracts you knows that they're working with someone that's pretty reputable, because you're not going to make some big mistake and get sued. You have fleet maintenance planning, what's happening and why for the industry. So here's a rule for YouTube management. You're going to want to start with 3 to 5 topics. They're also called clusters, and go really deep onto these topics, because depth brings binge behavior. So once someone starts watching one video and they're interested in the topic, they're going to stay on there, and your channel is going to do well, and you're going to make some more sales. All right, so next I'm going to talk about the content portfolio and how to convert with it. So a managed channel is not just how-to videos, it's a portfolio with different functions. So like in the marine blog sales system, which you may have read some of my content on, or watched some of my videos on, in the marine blog sales system, I talk about how you need to follow the sales cycle, right? So for YouTube, you're doing kind of the same thing here, with a little bit of different structure. So the feeder content is for growth. This is the purpose to capture search and earn discovery, right? So you're out there prospecting for your sales, right? So a lot of times you're going to structure the titles to help you do this. And you're going to start with beginner and intermediate education. Also, there's different formats. Maybe you use shorts more often to get people to come into your ecosystem, because they are spread more easily. And people maybe not ready to spend a full 20 minutes. I don't know how long this video is right now, but if you had just come in here and you hadn't seen some preview about it, maybe you weren't ready to watch this whole long video, right? Unless you were really interested in the topic and ready to generate some sales. So the next thing is converter content. So this is the one that's actually taking these viewers and turning them into sales. So you're going to talk about pricing and cost drivers. You're going to talk about what happens next. So if you want to work with me or my team to help you manage your marine YouTube channel, send me the URL of your YouTube channel and a little bit of a description of what your goals are for the next month, 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months. And send them to colbyum@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to take a look and get started. Usually for YouTube channels, what I'll do is I'll start with the first goal, which is like usually a low-hanging fruit, getting to the next step. So if you're a small channel with only 400, 500 subscribers, we probably want to get you up to the 1,000 subscriber range, because there's other features that can help you to drive sales at that point. So at this point, we're going to focus more on the feeder content, versus later on when you have a lot more viewership, a lot more subscribers, we're going to work a lot more on the conversion, because you have that distribution, and now you need to start really pushing it towards the sales. All right, so The next thing is you're going to talk about proof content, which is just reducing the risk for people that are making purchasing decisions. So we're going to talk about before and after case studies, process walkthroughs, standards, checklists, and also we're going to talk about if you're a fit or not a fit in a video that qualifies the buyers. So if you've noticed in this series and most of the YouTube videos on my channel, I talk about marine businesses. I can help you if you're not a marine business. One, I'll probably charge a little bit more because I'll have to learn your industry, and I've spent my entire life in the marine industry. And two, you're probably better off working with someone that's more specialized in your field, unless you just want the frameworks, which are universal. So yeah, so if you're a marine business and you're watching this video and you'd like to work with me, you're a fit. We're a fit. I've been fishing my whole life, on boats my whole life, worked in marine diesel engine parts businesses, the fishing tackle business. Yeah, this is what I've worked in and what I can help you with. So if that's you, send me an email to colbym@gmail.com. We can get started. All right, so the packaging standards. So really, there's some discipline that it takes to create distribution. So titles must match the way that people are searching for your business. So for example, if you're running a fishing charter and you're putting out a YouTube video, you might say Miami half-day pricing and what changes the cost. Maybe dock piling repair, signs of failure and your options. A raw water pump, how to correct the correct model before you order. How to identify the correct model before you order. All right, and then thumbnails must be obvious in 1 second. You want to keep these thumbnails real simple so that people just make that decision to click. Very simple. One subject, not a lot of words, and a consistent style so people recognize your channel. So the first 60 seconds of your video really decides your video, and you'll notice when I started this video, I started talking about what was going to be covered. So this person that's watching the video knows, okay, am I wasting my time, not wasting my time, or you at least get to the point where you see all the topics that are covered and you can look in the description and say, okay, well this topic is covered 5 minutes in, I don't want to watch all this stuff, so I go down there, click in the description, okay, 5 minutes in, this is what I'm actually looking for. So next is channel architecture. You want to treat your YouTube like a sales website. So a managed channel routes viewers through a path instead of letting them exit. Playlists act as funnels. You have problems, decisions, proof, and then a call to action. Homepage sections start here, pricing, processes, case studies, and how to book and request a quote. And end screens, which are just a little piece on the top of the video, or you can format it in different ways, but usually it's at the top, is going to help you to route the customer to your website, to a lead form, to anything like that. Pin comments, which you can create, and we'll talk about later. You can pin the call to action there so it's always visible to the customer. Now, what is the conversion system that turns attention into sales? So for marine, YouTube monetization fails when calls to action are scattered. So the management system uses a simple rule. Always have at least one primary call to action per video that matches the viewer's intent. So an example for a charter's FAQ video, check availability and book. You might want to put that in the pinned comment. You might want to put that in the end card. You might want to call it out during the video if you're speaking in it. A boatyard process video will have a call to action for requesting an estimate or an inspection. All right, so where do call to actions live in order of impact? The pinned comment is the highest visibility. The first 2 lines of the description, a little bit lower because you actually have to open it up or just look down there. Then the end screens, they only appear towards the end of the video. And the playlists it's not as visible. So call to actions must go with in the right place, and they have to use the right wording for what your goal is. So the next step of the YouTube marine business channel management is lead handling. So you actually have to getting these. Once you get these leads, you got to do something with them. So a management includes landing pages for offers, same day response workflow. So you make sure that your leads that are coming from the YouTube are getting attended to. Templates to collect the right details. So you want it's kind of like a sales script or forms where you're collecting the information that you need to move the customer to the next step or the sale. And you want to have somewhere where you're really cataloging the leads that you're getting and seeing what the outcomes were. So you can say, okay, well, this video did really well. It gave us 100 leads, but they weren't. They were real tough to close. But this other video right here seems to be working. This framework right here that's in this video is creating a lot. It might not be creating as many leads, but they're closing. And so you want to repeat that. Hopefully you have the outcome where it's a lot of leads and they're closing. That's the best one. All right, so next I have metrics that matter for marine channel management. So the CTR are the titles and the thumbnails getting you clicks when you're getting the impressions. The first minute retention, are you delivering what the video is about and at least some value really quickly so that people stay? The traffic source that you're winning. Are you winning the search, suggested, both? Or there's also external, which I'll talk about a lot at a later point. All right, so you have leads, orders by topic and cluster. So which one's making the most money for you? Lead quality, how much are you closing from the YouTube channel versus other channels? And when I mean channels is other sources, because YouTube is channels. Repeat purchasing and booking. Do your customers that are coming from YouTube become repeat customers? And how you're going to use these metrics, I'll go into more detail in another video. So a realistic 30-day management plan, like how would you get started here? So publishing 4 long-form videos, so that's at least 1 per week, in 2 to 3 topics or clusters. Publish 10 to 20 shorts, pulled from the long-form videos. So you're taking those long-form videos, you're breaking them down into smaller videos and reformatting them. And then you're going to want to build 5 playlists of aligned to different offers. Then you're going to want to add 1 primary call to action to every single long-form video, pin to the top, and have a call out in the description. The goal within 30 days is to create signal, what topics bring qualified buyers, and what's routing intention that turns into sales. So in closing, the marine YouTube channel management is the discipline of turning expertise of your business into a compounding business asset. It requires inventory of videos, definitely some patience, especially early on, and then routing and lead handling once you're starting to get leads that turn into revenue, especially when volume is starting to pick up. It requires topic clusters that match your buyer's intent, packaging that earns distribution, and conversion systems that make the next step obvious. So when managed correctly, YouTube doesn't just grow the awareness of your business, it grows trust, it reduces sales friction, produces better leads, and continues generating revenue long after you click the publish button. So if you'd like help with this and you currently have a YouTube channel that you've posted from a few videos to hundreds of videos, send me a URL to your link and tell me a little bit more about what your business goals are to colbyum@gmail.com. So just a little bit more, you watch this whole video, why Colby Uva to help you with this? Why should you work with me? So I prioritize commercial outcomes. I've always been a business owner-operator, not an entertainer. I view YouTube as a library and a routing system for your business. I currently manage multiple YouTube channels for multiple business, and I've driven millions of users or viewers and users to different companies' businesses. Most recently, I've grown a channel from 900 subscribers to over 40,000. On other platforms, I've brought in more than 100,000 followers, whether that's Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook. I was actually one of the first sponsors for the world's largest, paid sponsors for the world's largest fishing YouTube channel. So I know what it's like for a business owner who's working with a YouTube channel and maybe has different metrics than the YouTube channel is there. Because you're a business owner, your goal is to sell products. And so I view it from an owner-operator view on YouTube. And I've been running online businesses for more than 15 years. And I really have an emphasis on just lead handling, calls to action, and landing pages. And yeah, one of my goals is to generate more than $100 million in sales through online platforms. And so I'd like to help you do that. The more sales you're generating, the more I'm getting towards that goal. Also, I'd like you to take a look at my blog. It's the Marine Blog Sales System. I cover lots of different topics there of what blogs should look like for marine and outdoor businesses, structuring your blog to follow the sales cycle, analytics and measuring the revenue that's coming through your blog, the topic selection, and how to audit your current blog for better performance. So if you'd like to work with me, send me an email to colbyum@gmail.com. Thank you for your time and look forward to making you some money.